Hey, what's up guys? It's Andrew Santowski. I'm giving you another UFC prediction video. This time, the first event of 2025. UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Ribas 2. It goes down Saturday, January 11th, 2025. Prelims begin at 4 p.m. going down from the UFC Apex, Las Vegas, Nevada. 14 fight card. And it's a really good card. I really like the card. So let's get into it, guys. First fight up, Victoria Dudakova against Fatima Kline. I was really impressed with Fatima Kline in her UFC debut. She fought Jasmine Jazz the Vicious at, what was that, flyweight? And she's fighting at strawweight here. So she's going back down to her natural weight class. It was a tough fight with Jasmine. Jasmine did pick up the decision, but Fatima Kline looked promising in that fight. Victoria Dudakova, I don't think she's a really good grappler. She lost to Sam Hughes. I think Fatima Kline's going to probably dominate her here. Looking at the betting odds, Kline is a minus 800 favorite. So 8-1 favorite for Kline. I'm going to side with Kline. Austin Bashi against Christian Rodriguez. Man, what a tough fight to make your UFC debut in. But I'm going to side with Austin Bashi here, man. Really good grappler. Nice win on the Dana White Contender Series. Christian Rodriguez, he's got all the UFC experience, but I don't know if he's the same fighter at featherweight that he was at bantamweight. You know, I mean, he had a big size advantage at bantamweight. Now he's probably a little small at featherweight, but I'm going to side with Bashi here to get it done, but this should be an interesting fight. Nurlo Aliev against Yanal Ashmuz. Ashmuz, you know, he had that big upset win over Sam Patterson. I think they were both making their UFC debut, but he just seems kind of slow. He gets taken down and controlled. But he did beat Trevor Peek. I think he did utilize the wrestling there. But yeah, he knocked out Sam Patterson. We've seen how good Sam Patterson can be. He moved up to welterweight now. Aliev, let's take a look at his record real quick. 9-0 professional record. He's coming off a win over Rafael Alves back in 2023. So this guy hasn't fought in a while. I don't know exactly what's going on here. Like I said, I wasn't really impressed with Ashmuz's last time out. Let's see if we can get the odds for this fight. Aliev minus 400. I'm going to side with Aliev here, man, but obviously not a bet. Ponzinibbio against Carlston Harris. Two guys that have had some recent losses as of late. Ponzinibbio lost to Split to Salikov, lost to Holland. I mean, this guy, he just hasn't been the same since he was out for that period of time. Carlston Harris, let's take a look at him, man. He came into the UFC looking good, but he suffered some losses as well. Got knocked out in his last fight. I think Carlston Harris has a little more upside here. I'm gonna predict that he gets a first round knockout here. Jose Johnson against Felipe Buenas. I'm gonna side with Johnson here. I just think he's got more of a size advantage in this fight, man. He's a really tall guy for flyweight. Lost to Asu Almabayev in his last fight. But I'm gonna side with Jose Johnson here to pick up the win. Andreas Gustafsson against Preston Parsons. I don't know. I wasn't too impressed with Gustafsson on his Dana White Contender Series fight. He did win. I think he did win by knockout, but I thought it was kind of sloppy. You know, he threw a lot of volume. I mean, kind of seems like he's going to gas himself out in some of these UFC fights, man. And he's going up against Preston Parsons, a guy that really hasn't proven himself in the UFC. He's coming off a loss. Lost to Oban Elliott. No shame in that. We know how good Oban is. Beat Semmelsberger prior to that. I'm going to side with Gustafsson here, man. But I'm not really sold on the guy going forward. He's a minus 200. And I guess I do understand the action coming back on Parsons. Punahele Soriano against Uros Medic. Soriano, man, he's cutting down to welterweight. I don't know if he's fought. Yeah, he did. He fought Baeza here at welterweight before, but I don't know. I'm just... guess I'm not too sold on the guy at welterweight or middleweight. Uros Medic, he moved up from 55 to 70. 6'1", 71-inch reach on a one-fight win streak. Beat Tim Means by knockout, which is... not many people knock Tim Means out. I'm going to side with Medic here, man. I'm just not really sold on Soriano, man. Maybe Soriano has reinvented himself at 170. Maybe he's got better cardio now, and he's going to implement a wrestling game plan or something, but I'm going to side with Uros Medic here. Ernesta Kareckaite against Nicole Cagliari. Nicole Cagliari, 4-fight win streak. Was on the Dana White Contender Series, so she's making her UFC debut here. Kareckaite, man, I've been impressed with her. She's got a karate background, 1-fight losing streak, lost to Dion Barbosa in Brazil. I don't know, I'm just a little more impressed with Kareckaite here. I can't really speak much about Cagliari, but I'm going to side with Ernesta Kareckaite here as the -200 favorite for a pick. Marco Tulio against Ihor Potero, man. It just seems like Potero's always fighting and he's always getting knocked out, man. Lost to Cesar Almeida by decision. Lost to Michel Pereira. I mean, this guy fights often, man. He's going to bring in his game. And they're throwing him up against another contender here, Marco Tulio on the Dana White Contender Series. 8-fight winning streak. And I'm going to side with Tulio here, but again, these guys are two strikers. It's not going to surprise me if Potero catches the guy. Potero's got more UFC experience. And let's look. Tulio is a -450, which is... I mean, it's hard to believe that, you know, a guy making his UFC debut and he's -450, but there's probably people out there that are actually betting that. But again, I'll pick Tulio. Absolutely not a bet. Razak Al Hassan against Cesar Almeida, two strikers. Almeida's got the better striking pedigree. It's probably more natural at the weight class. I'm going to side with Almeida here. Magomed Gatsasulov against Bruno Lopes. I'm going to side with Lopes here, man. Again, Magomed, he got a decision win over Ribeiro in his last fight, but I'm going to side with Lopes, man. I think Magomed just wants to grapple. Lopes, he does have some submission and knockout finishes on his record. He's coming off the Dana White Contender Series. I'm going to pick Lopes here for the win. Thiago Moises against Trey Ogden. I think Moises is probably the more talented fighter here. You know, every time he takes a step up in competition, he loses. You know, he lost to Ludovic Kline. No shame in that. No shame in losing to Benoit Saint Denis. We know how good those fighters are. And we'll take a look at Trey Ogden. 2-fight winning streak. Beat Loic Radzhabov and Kurt Holobaugh. 2 good wins. But I'm going to side with Moises here. I think he's probably the better fighter. Chris Curtis against Roman Kopylov. Again, I'm not too high on either of these guys. I think Chris Curtis is the older fighter here. I'm still going to side with Curtis. He is coming off, I believe, a knee injury in that Brendan Allen fight back in April. But it's not going to surprise me either way. I'm going to take the dog in Curtis since he is, last time I looked, a +210 underdog. +205 underdog. Again, I don't know who's laying the price on Kopylov here. I mean, Kopylov might be the younger, more dynamic striker, but I could see Chris Curtis utilizing his wrestling, stuff like that. I don't think either of these guys get a finish. I'm going to side with Curtis, but again, it's just a lean. I could see this fight going either way. Mackenzie Dern against Amanda Ribas. This is their second fight. They fought 5.5 years ago, and Ribas picked up the win there. Again, I think they're both 31 years old. They both suffered setbacks in the strawweight division. Ribas will have a little bit of a reach advantage. Dern with the slight height advantage. And I'm going to side with Dern here, man. I mean, let's look at the odds. We're getting +160 right now, +161. Plus 168 on Dern. A lot of money coming in on Ribas. I don't really understand that. Dern's got the more 5-round experience. I can see this being a very close fight. You know, with Dern, you know, hopefully she's fully focused on training. You know, she's had a couple kind of public relationships that I think that have ended. So hopefully she's focused on training. Ribas, she's only got one 5-round fight, I believe, under her belt. And she lost that to Rose Namajunas last March. So, like I said, Dern's got the 5-round experience. I can see this being a really close fight. It's probably going to come down to who has more heart, who lands the harder punches, gets the takedown later in the round, more control time. And I'm just going to side with Dern here, man. You're getting plus money. She's the higher-ranked fighter. And I just think, you know, if you're going to bet on this fight, I think you have to side with the underdog here. And I'm going to side with Mackenzie Dern. So, guys, my picks. Dern, Curtis, Moises, Lopes, Almeida, Tulio, Kareckaite, Medic, Gustafsson, Johnson, Harris, Aliev, Bashi, and Kline.